All right, I got the a little bit there. Here we go. I got the edge burnishing done on here. I didn't get it on video because, well, it's the same kind of edge burnishing I did on these edges. And now it's time to wet mold this thing. But let me show you something real quick first. I got a new light. And the reason I got a new light is because my wife's light that she keeps on her nightstand at night to read by, well, it broke. It fell on the floor and it broke. Now this light gives a nice diffuse light, which I kind of like. I kind of prefer. It's not as directional. And it actually, it does a better, like, let's say this was a stamp. I could see a lot better with this light where I'm going to stamp. Now the idea is, I'm thinking if I took this light and moved it up to this next shelf up here, I would get more of a diffuse light across here. Anyway, I'm gonna go wet this thing and we'll be right back to mold it. Okay, for wet molding this, I use hot tap water, and our hot tap water is very hot. I would say it's just below scalding. But the first thing I do is I go ahead and I open this up a bit with my fingers. Then I shove it on in. Do, 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 do. And once it's sitting in there where it's supposed to be, go ahead, mold these sides back, and then start mashing it in around the gun. Now I don't want to do too much on the front side because I don't want to muddy up the stamping on it. Lisa, can you get me my skull, please? But on the back side, thank you, Lisa, is really where I want to mash it in, because that's where most of my retention is going to come from. But I got to work kind of quickly, because since this is nearly scalding hot water, it dries kind of quickly. Why hot water? Because the idea is you want to soften the collagen in the leather. And what that'll do is it'll make the leather moldable, and once it dries, it'll harden the leather. Which will give you your retention. Now there's some people that like the blocked in look. I'm not too hip on it. I like doing stamping on it because I think that looks better, but the idea is you want the gun to sit in the holster securely, because the better the fit of the holster to the gun, the better the retention, and the less holster wear you get on the gun. Now I'm going to mash it in a little bit right here, but not too much. I don't want to go nutty with it because I want that to look good. That's important. Well, it's one of the things that are important. It's important that it looks good, and it's important that it retains the gun and fits the gun. Because like I said, if it doesn't fit correctly, you can get more wear on the gun. Because if the gun's moving around, that's not good. It's all based on where you put your stitch line, the final design of the holster, everything is all to carry the gun, to retain the gun, and basically to hold it. Actually, just a little bit right there. Not too much. It's going to muddy up the stamping a little bit right in that area, but not so bad. Now this is curving around because a belt's going to go through there. And I haven't met many people that have square sides on their body. That'd be a right odd looking fellow. Now let's see if I can get this out. There we go. Pull that out, mash that together a little bit. It's still very soft. But once it's dry, that should hold very, very well. And the idea behind making a holster like this is you want your stitch line close to the gun. I almost said knife. Close to the gun. So when it's molded, it's not going to waller out and affect the retention. This is like my favorite part because it all comes down to this. The gun fitment. Now what I'll do, mash that together a little bit. After I get it all molded, I'll take the dummy gun out, or the gun out, depending on how you're doing it. And I'll set it there and let it dry. Let's check real quick. Yeah, that's pretty much where I want it. And as it dries, it'll shrink a little bit, so it'll hold the gun better. Some people will take a hairdryer to it. Some will bake it in an oven at a very low temperature. You don't want to use a high temperature on it. But you do want it to fit very close to the gun. Well, I'm going to keep picking at it, and once I determine that it's ready, I'll leave it sit, let it dry, probably give it a couple of days, and then we'll go ahead and put a finish on it. But that's looking pretty good.